Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to J is for Justice. My name's Jay. I'm your host today. Thank you for joining. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. Can I get a 2x4 in chat if you can hear me all right? It's Saturday morning coffee and crime with Jay. Good morning. I know, Amy. Me too. Hey, Snazzy. Snazzy says he has 30 days to back out of the plea. If he does, then the plea deal can come out at trial to be used against him. I did not know that. Let's address the elephant in the room before we get started. Tally Girl says, did you hear rumors Kohberger is doing a sit-down interview and family is getting paid for family pics and info? I heard the rumor and I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I don't think it's true. I think it's irresponsible that creators ran with it. I would question their integrity. The whole damn article regarding this whole sit down with Bryan Kohberger was misspelled. It was poorly edited, and I don't think that it's real. So I think that I'm waiting for more, real information, if you will. I just think it's very irresponsible to run with that information without any kind of verification. And thank you, Newfie. I'm actually just out of bed about 45 minutes ago, and I had a cup of coffee. I cleaned up my kitchen, and I'm like, you know what? It's really bothering me because we watched One Night in Idaho last night on Kick, and I just feel like there's a lot that came out in that. I mean, not a lot, but the Moscow police is what bothered me the most. And if you watched it, let me know what you learned. What did you pick up on? What did you hear in that documentary that you were like, whoa, I didn't know that? So let me talk about a couple of things that I learned from that documentary that bothered me before we begin. Well, before we begin, I want to remind you that we have this. We have Howard Bloom's book, When the Night Comes Falling. And we're going to be reading it next week. So if you guys want to pick that up, you can pick it up on Amazon as well. Good morning, Lavender. Good morning, Lovey. the cooter scooter. Hey, Yoga. If you guys could hit the like button, that'd be great. Let's get our coffee and let's talk about this. Hey, Megan May. I'm glad you could find a time to watch live. So in the documentary, we find out that, the surviving roommates and their friends were under so much scrutiny. We find out that, remember we heard they were sitting on the ground, like huddled up on the ground. I think there was actually a picture of it. It really did prove how much they wanted to go away. They were all sitting on the ground for hours. It wasn't minutes. Like, the Moscow PD didn't just, immediately take these kids to the station. Hey, my guess. They sat there. And we know they sat there for hours because the vandal alert went out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. These kids were still sitting in the road in front of 1122 King when that vandal alert went out. That's the first fucking fuck up, in my opinion. And they thought it was just Xana and Ethan for a time. Yep. Yeah. When they showed the creators, though, they weren't really showcasing them in a positive light, if you will. They really put JLR on blast for accusing Hunter J. He made a vile post about Hunter J's DNA being inside one of the girls. And they showed that in the documentary. That was pretty jarring. Yeah, the Vandal alert told them that there was a homicide, not the police. So now you know why there were so many rumors between the kids. A shooting, an overdose, what happened? No one knew because Moscow police was giving zero information. So I was under the impression these kids thought, were getting communicated with, if you will. I thought the police were reassuring them of something, right? Death Valley, that was a whole nother thing, right? So Hunter, who found Ethan and Xana, and his girlfriend Emily, who lived next door, actually slept in their house that night after the murders. And they were scared to death. They were like, what the fuck? They're saying it's targeted. They won't say what was targeted. Was it the house? Was it a person? Was it a specific person? Was it all of them? Right? It's right above you, Alice, or Sasha. Thank you, Alice. I appreciate that. The thing is right above. Streamlabs is dropping the link to Howard's book. It's effed up, right? It's effed up. They actually stayed in the house next door and they were scared. They were like, is someone going to come in and kill us? The police weren't telling them anything. It was quite jarring to hear. Hey, Potato, I feel like Moscow police really, really fucked up. So then I got to thinking, right? If you think about it, if you go back to the first responder, we learned from Howard Bloom that the first responder was a Moscow cop who was on desk duty. And I believe he was on desk duty because he had done something like lied on the stand or something had happened. Anyways, he's on the Brady list because he lied on the stand. So we have a cop who is on the Brady list, is the first one on the scene, and we got a knife sheath left behind. I'm telling you, the defense would have tore that shit up. Don't you think the defense would have torn that shit up? You got the one guy on the Brady list. He's the first on the scene. No one directs these kids anywhere. No one takes these kids back to the station immediately. They're all left sitting there. They could have left if they wanted to. No one was caring about them. No one was speaking to them. They said that the Moscow police didn't speak to them the whole time they were sitting in the fucking road. So Hunter Chapin gets called. He walks over into this mess. He's sitting on the ground. The brother of one of the victims is sitting on the ground with all these other kids waiting to find out what the fuck happened. I can't get past it. If that was one of my kids, I'd be fuming. Fuming. And then come to find out, they're like, oh, no one's at risk. This was a targeted attack. Bullshit. They didn't know that. We know now that he could have done it to anybody else after that. He could have went to anyone else after that murder and done it again. They had no idea who did it or why they did it. And they told those kids they were okay. They told all those kids in that town they were okay to stay. I couldn't get past it. If that's not a reason to leave the University of Idaho, I don't know what is. They were trying to save face, keep those kids at school. But in return, I feel like they broke trust. And now everybody's going to know. Everybody's going to know how they treated these kids after this documentary because they put it all out there. The families, too. Ava. The families, too, Ava. It was unbelievable. Never heard of such. Wow, thank you for the $20 super chat, B. Tim. Let's see. Unfortunately, you are right. A good defense team would use this. The mistake police officers make is not going all in the beginning of an investigation and half-assing things. This is what the defense looks for. Yep. And I think, too, B. Tim, that Bryan Kohberger knew that. I think he knew. I think he studied where he was going to do this. And he knew the cops were small town, inept cops. Right, Mike S. And the thing is, they can lie, right? But what they put the families through that morning was doubly as awful. Maddie Mogen's mom was trying to find out what happened. Do you know that the Chapins didn't even arrive in Moscow until 9 p.m.? Hunter had to call his parents and tell his mom, oh my God, I'm going to cry. His mom was at the grocery store. Hunter Chapin called his mom and was like, Ethan's not here. It's crazy. 9 at night they got there to find out that their son was definitely murdered. Be careful driving, Potato. In the pines, thank you for your super chat. To know you are dealing with incompetence from the jump, each set of parent had to grapple with that plus their loss. I wish they would all unite for a lawsuit, but too much emotional fatigue is set in. Right. And now you've got kind of, I don't know how much division, but they're kind of dealing with it all in their own ways. Yay, Sasha. The Papa Roger, they brought up a lot of Papa Rogers in the documentary last night. So we're going to talk more about the documentary. But hey Julie. Hey Princess Elsa. Hey Sarah. But what was interesting to me was that the Gonsalves family didn't participate, and neither did Xana's family in this documentary. But this was before the plea. Oh my God, Potato, right? So one of the reporters, a local reporter, was in the documentary, and she said Moscow didn't even have a PIO, a public information officer. They just assigned it to a cop. So totally, I mean, dare I say unprepared? I mean, horrible situation. But then another thing I'm going to go over this media thing first, then we're going to go back to the documentary because I've got a couple articles about it. But you can watch it on my Kick, Charlie. Can someone get the Kick, like the actual link? If you don't have Prime, here, I'll get it for you. Hold on. Hold, please. If you go to Kick, I'll get you the link to the exact video. It'll be up for 30 days. So it's right here. And you don't have to sign up or anything. You just can watch it. There it is. Hey, big girl for life. Hey, green-eyed. First, it was the mayor. The mayor was also in the documentary. And the mayor, dude, I'm telling you, they threw the mayor under the bus. Remember the mayor came out and they like pressured him to give a statement because Moscow wasn't saying shit? The mayor was totally thrown under the bus. Totally. And there's no commercials in that because of the real Kells. She let us use her Prime that has no ads. So there's no ads in the documentary either. You're very welcome. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. All right, so let's talk about what the media is doing and go through that, and then then we can go back to this documentary because there's a lot to talk about. There was 4 episodes. Oh, the mayor. Yeah, so the mayor was interviewed and he's like, "What do you say?" You know, he didn't know what was going on. No one else. He's like, "I don't know why I was the spokesperson." Was he the one that dressed up like a student? I don't know if that was JLR. Was it? They didn't really say. Oh, Lord, straight talker. Okay, so we know that this case has been under a gag order since the very beginning. Now we have Bryan Kohberger pleading guilty. And on the 3rd of July, the media, again, like they did back in Latah County when we first started watching this, they filed the same thing, right? They wanted the vacate the non-dissemination order. All of these media networks right here. I mean, it's pretty much everybody. Everybody and then the locals. So it says here on July 2nd, 2025, Bryan, which is with a Y, Kohberger pled guilty to the murders of 4 University of Idaho students and a 1 count of burglary. Mr. Kohberger's plea sharply changed the Sixth Amendment fair trial First Amendment balance in this case. He will never face a jury to determine his guilt, nor will a jury have a role in whether the death penalty is proper. All that remains is for the court, not a jury, to impose a sentence. But even then, the parties have waived a precedence investigation, and Mr. Kohberger has agreed that he will not argue for anything less than consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Who thinks he might play a game at this hearing? Do you think he might play a game? Hey, stay low. Thank you. Do you guys think that he might play a game at sentencing, or do you think he's just going to get sentenced and go away? I don't know about this guy. I don't trust him. I don't trust his motives. I don't think he's done screwing around. But let's see. Even before Kohberger was arrested, the court entered and has enforced a non-dissemination order restricting the individuals involved with the case from making I can't even say that word. Extrajudicial statements. It's too early for extrajudicial. See Declaration of Wendy Olson. These non-dissemination orders have been predicted on a singular justification, preservation of Mr. Kohberger's right to a fair trial. Mr. Kohberger's change of plea and the terms of his agreement have rendered that justification moot, which is kind of true, right? They didn't want to taint a jury pool. Hey, Charlie T, thank you for the $9.99. Summertime is more fun in Cooterville. I agree. Why wouldn't he continue it, right, Chris? I agree with that. Why wouldn't he? Do it all. I mean, in the absence of this justification, the non-dissemination order's infringement on the First Amendment is impermissible. So if they're not worried about a jury pool, I mean, I don't think he's going to unseal it before the sentencing. But I was watching an interview with Howard Bloom, and Howard Bloom was like, if they don't unseal it, like if they keep it sealed until after he's sentenced and it's all a done deal, by the time the media or reporters get to it and can scan through it, because it's going to take time to go through it, right? Just because it's unsealed doesn't mean you automatically know what's in it. If we've got 60 terabytes of evidence, imagine that. We had 1,200 pages in Watts, and it took a while to go through all that. So by the time the media gets through it and actually is able to decipher everything and, you know, get it in a format where they can report it and then get it double checked and fact checked and all the shit they got to do, it's ancient history. So either way, I don't know. Not sure if a couple weeks would make a big difference anyhow, but I think they want an opportunity to sift through it before the sentencing. Hey, Jennifer. Okay, so they're saying that it's overbroad and runs afoul of the First Amendment. Accordingly, the Media Coalition, which is all those media people listed above, respectfully requests that this court vacate the non-dissemination order immediately. And then you have their argument. There's 24 media organizations in this. So here they cite all the case law and everything for their argument. And then it says, simply put, the non-dissemination order no longer serves a legitimate purpose. For the reasons stated in this memorandum, the Media Coalition respectfully requests this court grant its motion and vacate the non-dissemination order. So these are the attorneys, Wendy Olson. This is the same people that did it before. These are the lawyers for the media. So if we go back over here, we have a hearing. Except it's only going to be on Zoom. So right here, July 17th, they're doing a motion to vacate the non-dissemination order on Zoom, July 17th at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. This is a remote hearing that will be held via Zoom. The clerk will send out the Zoom invite. So I'm assuming we don't get to see this unless we just log in. I don't know if they're even going to have that available. But see, Jay Logsden is still on there. Where's Jay Logsden been? Where is Jay Logsden? Where you at? But anyway, that's happening on the 17th. And then, of course, we have the sentencing on the 23rd. So if we go back over here, hold on. You think they may get it done? The Papa Roger stuff, it's jarring. Thank you for following, Alice Faye. Maybe they misheard Bryan when he said he looked forward to being exonerated. Maybe he actually said incarcerated. How are you, Jeff H? It's good to see you. So I don't know if we'll be able to even hear that, but we have the sentencing on the 23rd, and that'll be live streamed, and we'll see what happens. But if they get that gag order, you know, the non-dissemination order released before the sentencing, we'll have a lot to look at, right? That's your birthday, Donnie? Well, happy birthday a week early. Jay, did parents get any information regarding what's sealed? Are they? No, they're in the dark. You know, and that was one thing. Let's go back to the Docu-Series. It was absolutely jarring. I thought that these kids and families were communicated with way more than they were. It really bothered me. I'm not going to lie. Hey, Liza. Good morning, Danny. The question is, oh God, then they talked about Ramsland. I mean, they covered everything last night. Everything. All right, so here's one article I found regarding the documentary. Let's read through it and we'll talk as we go. We'll talk about it. This is One Night in Idaho docu-series. This is why the friends first to the crime scene are speaking out. And I'll tell you why. They are sick and tired of being blamed. They are sick and tired of being blamed. They're sick and tired of being accused. Poor Hunter found his friend dead, and he was getting messages on social media telling himself to confess, calling him a murderer, saying all this bad stuff to him. I mean, we all know Dylan was, raked through the coals. Good morning, Global. We all know Dylan was raked through the coals. All these kids were. All of them. Oh, and another thing we found out was that was not Emily on the 911 call. That was a different friend. Chelsea, welcome to Cooterville. Come on in and close your legs. Oops, wrong channel. Welcome to the Clickers. Clicker Cooters. Oh my gosh, Tally, after seeing everything last night, I can see I was pissed. The first episode, I was so mad. It made me mad at the plea. I'm not going to lie. It made me mad at the plea. The first episode explained a lot. But, you know, to hear these kids talk about how this has affected them. Who was what? Snowflakes. Who was what? Donnie, yes, I am. Hey, true crime. It was just horrible. It was heartbreaking, honestly. But anyway, let's read through this. So, give me 1 second here, guys. Oops. Hold on. All right. I'll be back on camera in a second. I got to take care of something while I'm reading this. Okay. On July 2nd, a stony Bryan Kohberger took a plea deal. Oh, speaking of that, the house being torn down. Hunter Chapin really got to explain how he's been grieving or trying to grieve. And his window in the frat house looked directly at 1122 King. Oh, it wasn't Emily. Yeah, it was another friend that lived next door with Emily. I can't remember her name, but she's in the documentary. Yeah, I mean, Hunter really took the brunt of everything. Donnie, you don't like the way Dylan handled it? Very immature. Well, I mean, she was 19. I think you're expected to be immature when you're 19. I don't know. That's just me. Thank you, B. Tim. Another mistake the defense made is they should have subpoenaed to have all the aired and unaired interviews of the witnesses for trial. They could have been used to impeach the witnesses. So there's a lot that could have happened, B. Tim, is what it sounds like. It really sounds like they had a lot of fuck ups too. So I don't know. I'm glad about the plea. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm glad about the plea, but then I'm also, when I watched how much the people went through, the kids and the families, I was mad because I was like, this guy doesn't deserve anything other than to be told, you don't even deserve to live. Like, that's how I felt. Hey, Titanium. Like, I don't know. It just made me feel like he needs to be told that he doesn't deserve to live. Like, even if he's going to sit on death row for fucking 40 years, still, I want him to be told, you don't deserve life. Even though you may sit there for 40 years appealing it, I want him to know he doesn't deserve to breathe. And maybe that's vengeful of me. But damn, man, I just can't imagine the disregard that these families felt, that these kids felt. And for everyone who was saying, oh, Hunter and Emily broke up, blah, blah, blah. No, they didn't. They got their own apartment in Boise. They moved out of Moscow in 2023 and moved together to Boise to try to get away from the shit. And for those people that all fucking get on Dylan, oh God, look at her. She's at a Halloween party. She shouldn't be at a Halloween party. Those people can fuck directly off too. Because, something really hit me with what Emily said last night. And I can't remember what I was saying. I was all in a fucking thing and I started reading B Tim. Yeah, B Tim's a smart cookie. I can't remember what the fuck I was saying now. Dang it, I hate when that happens. You think so, Lucia? That's what Steve Gonsalves seems to think. The heck was I saying about Emily? It always does that to me when I read chat and then I'm thrown off. People really need to stop judging these kids who have been through a horrible trauma. It's really disgusting. I agree. Scumbag attacking Dylan. It's me, Mike. Did you like it? Oh, the Halloween part. Thank you, Green Eyed. Yeah. So there were people that were judging Dylan because she went to a freaking Halloween party. And Emily really made me open my eyes to that. Because Emily was like, you're not going to take pictures of yourself crying. You're not going to take pictures of yourself bawling over losing your friends. So if she shares a picture, it doesn't mean she's not fucking grieving. It doesn't mean that she doesn't care. And I think it's horrible. Good morning, and thank you, Flo, for your $10 super chat. She said, I watched, and it was eye-opening. It really was. Well, we're going to read about that, why the other families did not participate. So let's get back to it. Donnie, I think she knew something bad happened, but couldn't process that something bad happened. Like, I think she knew in her gut something bad happened, but in her mind, she was like, no way. She couldn't rationalize that something horrible had happened that caused death, right? She couldn't rationalize that in her 19-year-old brain that was drunk before she went to bed. And she was in bed. So if you guys want to watch it, Miss W, it's on my Kick. Ad free. You can watch it right there. Or you can watch it on Prime, yeah. Either or. Okay, so let's go through this. Let's scroll down. Okay. In changing his not guilty plea for the four counts of first-degree murder, Kohberger, 30, escaped capital punishment. This conclusion satisfies some of the victims' families while enraging others. I mean, that's human. That's human nature. You have 4 families, and they're all not going to feel the same in grief about social, debating. I don't know what you'd call it, like a hot social topic like the death penalty. Some people just straight up don't believe in it. So you got 4 families. You're not going to have them all agree. Yeah, all 4 episodes are on that one stream. For Hunter Johnson, who appears in One Night in Idaho, and discovered Kernodle and Chapin on that fateful day, the admission brings little relief. And there, look at him. Look at his eyes, man. Look at this picture, this pool picture from the plea day. Let's get this guy off here. Look at that. Look at that. And Catherine Ramsland wasn't kidding when she said he was intense. He was intense, curious, He was intense and curious. He was my best student. We also found out, that's another thing. A former student that was his partner, that was Kohberger's partner on his project. Oh, they talked to a student that was in the murder crime scene house at DeSales with him. And she said he would create other scenarios other than the ones Ramslin set up for them. Yikes. Get this. You know what else came out? That in DeSales, guess who he studied and took an extra interest in? Incel Elliot Rodger. And then that leads us into Papa Roger. Oh, boy. Okay, so here's Hunter. Even if Kohberger did get the death penalty, that's honestly not even justice enough, said Johnson, because the families still don't get to have their daughter. They don't get to have their son. The irreversible nature of the murders means justice can never actually be served. So here's Emily. We are appreciative. Emily Allant, Johnson's close girlfriend and close confidant of Kernodle, said she's happy she and Johnson, their friends, and the victims' families have been spared a trial. She said that's important to us, and that's the good part that has come out of this. So Hunter said that he was relieved. Hey, Adrian. That he did not have to testify. He was very nervous about testifying. Although they once avoided interviews out of respect for the families and their own privacy, Emily and Hunter spoke out at the request of Ethan's mom, Stacy. They did it for Ethan's mom. I didn't know that until just now. So here's the trailer if you guys want to watch that really quick.
These kids were just having the best time of their lives. Nobody could have imagined what was about to happen.
4 University of Idaho students were found murdered in their off-campus residence.
The attack was targeted with a...
Uh-oh. I hate all these ads. I clicked something and it fucking turned off. Sorry.
These kids were just having the best time of their lives. Nobody could have imagined what was about to happen.
4 University of Idaho students were found murdered in their off-campus residence.
The attack was targeted with a, quote, edged weapon.
I set foot in the house and immediately Hunter was like, get out.
That was her.
Call 911.
The question
That was the girl who was on the 911 call. Was that girl they just showed. It wasn't Emily, it was her.
everybody wants answered is why? Why these 4 kids?
This can't be true. I mean, this is Idaho.
Your kid's supposed to be safe, going off to college, having a good time.
Oh, another thing we learned was that Maddie's stepdad actually raised her from when she was 3. Well, Misty, you can watch it on Kick. It won't do that. Raised her since she was 3.
We were a big group of friends. Why would you target those 4? There's a big realization that we had been stalked for so many months and had no clue.
Okay, so when she said that in the documentary, this is another eerie thing. So Hunter said that him and Emily woke up in the middle of the night of the murders, and something made Hunter get up and lock their door and go back to bed. He said he just had a weird feeling, and he got up, locked the door, and never thought anything of it until after. Isn't that creepy?
People were panicking. People were really fearful.
There's this person out there who had just murdered our brother, and he's still out there somewhere.
Moscow police put out very little information.
Rumors and speculation just started to fill the silence. How could they not tell us what's going on?
Dylan and Bethany were getting blamed.
Completely slandered on the internet.
People were thinking that we were murderers.
We're getting death threats. People always suspect the boyfriend.
Somebody had sent a photo of my house. Now people know my address and saying I have something to do with it.
You know who you can thank for that right here? This poor kid. He tells his story too. You know who did this to him? I believe it was Lana Oriani, a.k.a. Truth and Transparency, did this to this kid.
Something to do with it.
I got a phone call from the officer, and he said that we have a suspect in custody.
I just felt my heartbeat go crazy fast. I know that guy.
My mom said, "It's over." And I said, "No, Mom, it's just the beginning."
So this girl here lived right across the street. She was another friend. So there were several friends. There wasn't just Hunter and Emily next door. She lived across the street, and she could look out her window and see the house. And then there was also another set of friends that were living in another house. And then we had Jack and them living over in that cul-de-sac. So they knew a lot of people in that little Greek Row area. Plus you had the frat house right across the field. So here, so what I'm trying to make you understand is that, like, this girl, Hunter, Emily, they were all told that this was a targeted attack, right? So imagine your friends being targeted, but you don't know why. You don't know why your friends were targeted, but the cops are telling you you're safe. You're safe. You can stay in your apartments. You can stay in your houses. You know, it's all good. I can't imagine what that would feel like as a college student. I can't imagine what that would feel like right now. But wild to me. Wild. All right, that's that. Okay, so here we go. They want their friends to be thought of as more than how they met their end. Xana is extremely goofy and giddy all the time. And she remembers Kaylee as selfless and always smiling. Hunter remembers Ethan's sense of humor. He said Ethan was very quirky in the sense that he could make you laugh and very witty all the time. And he described Maddie as very super caring and outgoing. They all had a light about them, Hunter said, and we just try to carry on that light for them now. Now, these kids, they don't even go on social media much anymore. Their lives have totally changed. The docu-series provides a more complete picture of the four through their social media posts and interviews with friends and family. Mogan's mom and stepdad participated. So did the parents of Ethan, a triplet, and his siblings, which was really sad. Imagine being the triplets and you're missing that third. And thank you, Snazzy, for the super chat and the information that Brian Ensign just posted on X. It's not true. BK is doing a tell-all interview, according to BK's family attorney. There you go. Clicks and views, clicks and views. So here's Maddie's mom, who lost her only daughter. I never let Maddie cry, like never. I'm not going to let you have a moment of sadness, she said. Maisie Chapin shared the final text her brother sent her after attending the sorority formal together. So that was another sad thing. Hey, Katie. Hey, Miss Harmony. So Maisie went to the Betty's ball thing with Ethan. And afterwards, she went home. Well, Ethan was texting her saying, come over, come over. Her name's Lauren. Thanks, Marcy. He texted her. He was like, come over, come over. You know, we all want you here. And she was like, I went to bed and I didn't get his texts. And his last text to her was, love you. And she said that's not something that they normally would say to one another. So, yeah, that was pretty sad. Law enforcement officers and the 2 surviving roommates could not be interviewed due to gag orders. So everybody says, why aren't they speaking? Why aren't they speaking? They're under a gag order. At around 11:45 a.m. on November 13th, Mortensen asked Emily to come check their house as she'd witnessed something strange. Mortensen heard crying and saw a man dressed in black clothes and a mask walk past her. So Emily said, I joked with her. I said, do you want me to bring my taser? They joked. They didn't think this could be something horrific, right? Hunter, Emily, and Emily's housemate, Josie Lorturin. It's Josie. Josie is the other roommate next door. Arrived at the King Road house to find Mortensen and her roommate, Bethany Funk, outside the home. Johnson was, she said also when she walked up, Dylan, let me turn my camera back on and show you. Dylan and Bethany were like this. Just sitting there, she said, with their hand over their mouth, like not really knowing what was going on. Johnson was the first to see the bodies of Kernodle and Chapin, and he hurried Emily and Josie out of the house and told them to call 911. People magazine reported that Kohberger followed his female victims on Instagram, but they did not reciprocate. People also reported that an investigator said Kohberger, quote, allegedly messaged one of the 3 female victims repeatedly 2 weeks before the slayings. Allie, we've got it coming too. We've got it coming too. I'm excited to read his book as well. So I'm curious if this will come out in any kind of discovery, like if he really was messaging Maddie or, and his thing with Elliot Rodger is crazy because Elliot Rodger was actually rejected by a blonde sorority girl named Maddie. Marcy, I know. I love all these families. They're all just normal, good families with good kids. They did everything right. Right. And poor Josie, she's like, I don't even really hang out with them anymore. It's sad, dude. Their whole life goals have changed. Like Emily said, my life goals have changed because I'm a different person. Like I'm never going to be the same person. And that's so true. You won't. This is one of the things left out at the King Road house in the snow that winter. Sad. That was okay. So Emily says the why was a thought for a long time when we didn't know who the killer was until I saw his face on the internet and had never seen him a day in my life before or ever even heard the name. They were like, who is this guy? So the friends they interviewed were like, okay, you caught this guy. Who the hell is he? So all of the friends were like talking to each other going, do you know this guy? Have you ever seen, who is this? So Emily and Hunter also emphasized that Mortensen and Funk have also been traumatized and should not be viewed by internet sleuths as suspects. Johnson says they are just as much victims in this as the other 4 were. People who are harassing them should stop because they still get harassed to this day, even though he's pleaded guilty. Emily says, delete your hateful comments. Leave them alone. Yep. Jeff H., I think you're spot on. Jeff H. says, seems to me that Dylan wondered if she was imagining things and initially Bethany was trying to talk her down, suggesting Xana was wearing all black. Yes. Because Dylan even said to Emily, I don't know if I dreamt this, but there was a guy in our house, right? Like, I don't know if I dreamt it or not. Let's see what these pictures are here. Okay, here, we got some photos here from Getty Images. We've got, I never saw this. We've got candles and stuff left outside. I don't know when this is, but you can see the crime scene tape and the cop is still there. Here's another one. This one says, the law enforcement officer keeps watch at the site of a quadruple murder on January 3rd. So this is after the arrest. I didn't know Smiley was at the crime scene. I'm just kidding. Then there's this one. This is also on January the 3rd. Makeshift memorial. Yeah, these are all from January the 3rd, after the arrest. Sarah. And there it is on the same day, the same night, January 3rd at night. Look at that TV still on upstairs. Or whatever that. What is that in the window upstairs? That's not a TV. What is that? What is that in the upstairs window? I can't tell. No, it sounds like they never saw him. They never saw him. So it had to be that he somehow found them on social media, I think. Here's Kohberger's apartment. Here's more of the memorial left. You think it's a TV or a light from a bathroom? And this is one of the first times we saw Bryan when he was arrested in PA. Sarah, I actually have an interview on my channel with a sorority sister of Bundy's victims. I interviewed her about the Bundy incident and how things were back then. That would be interesting to revisit, actually. Look at how much weight he lost. Look at this. Look at his face here. Look at his face here. And then look at his, this is September 3rd of 2023. This is September 3rd of 2023. Now look at the sentencing. Good grief. Ugh. Here's another one from court. Yeah, Mittens, that was in the living room. That was the living room TV. There's another one. Looks like he had his brows trimmed up real good, didn't he? Weirdo. This one right here. His face fucking scares me, dude. Who's he looking at? Who's he looking at with that look? Faraday. Where did you hear that from? That's something I've never heard. I read BK discovered MM in Pennsylvania because she followed the same plastic surgeon. It was either MM or KG that followed the same famous plastic surgeon on one of their socials. Where did you read that? Yeah, he did, Adrian. It does, Jen, no, doesn't it? I think that's when they were getting up to leave. That's why her hand is on him. I don't know. I wouldn't touch him. Jeff H., did you happen to catch that Steve Gonsalves said that an inmate contacted him that he had answered Bryan's research thing? You heard that too, Mittens? And then to find out that he also broke into his friend Jeremy Saba's house and stole his mom's iPad. So he was being a burglar back in Pennsylvania. Yes, he was. Okay, we've got one more article here about this documentary. Let's take a look at this one. This is from Variety. And this one is about One Night in Idaho directors on refusing to let Bryan take the spotlight. Oh, yeah. He wanted to know because this inmate would wait on the scanner for like a domestic call. And then he would break into the house after the man was arrested for the DV. And Bryan kept calling the inmate back, according to Steve G., and asking more questions about how he did it. Ugh. And then you've got the Asian girl who he had her key or whatever and broke in and moved things. And then she asked him to set up cameras. Ugh. Right, Donnie? It's terrifying. Okay. Let's read this one. Just days before the July 11th premiere of One Night in Idaho, the coda to the 4-episode docu-series had to be rewritten. Initially, the final card stated that Bryan Kohberger would face trial in 2025. But on June 30th, Kohberger shocked those following the case by accepting a plea deal. The news stoked anger in some of the victims' families, while others accepted the prosecutor's decision. With the second group including the families of Ethan and Maddie, who are featured in the docuseries. It was co-directed by Liz Garbus and Matthew Galkin. For Galkin, who was in attendance for Kohberger's July 2nd plea hearing, the sudden assemblage of everyone involved in the case was surreal. The families barely had 36 hours notice to get to Boise to be in the courtroom for the hearing. Galkin says he was on the first flight he could get. The atmosphere in the courtroom was harrowing, he tells Variety. It was a combination of emotionally charged, obviously, but also extremely dramatic because you had basically every main player in this horrific saga in one room, finally facing each other because logistically, that's the way the courtroom is set up. All the families and prosecutors were looking in one direction, but the plaintiff and his legal team were off to the side, looking back towards the family. So remember the Chad Daybell setup. It was the exact same way. Kohberger and his counsel are on the side, and they can see everyone. So there were a lot of crossed eye lines going on, and it was a really, really intense thing to witness. Galkin and Garbus began documenting the case mere months after the murders. They first contacted the Chapins, including Hunter and Maisie, in April of 2023 after the Laramies, Maddie's parents. The families of the two other victims, Xana and Kaylee, did not participate in the series, but Garbus confirms they were approached. Hey, Kurt. While the Chapins and Laramies had largely avoided talking to the media about their lost children and the horrors of the circumstances surrounding their deaths, Garbus and Galkin pitched a victim-forward style of filmmaking. In the years since the murders, the fascination since Kohberger has been eclipsed only by intense internet sleuths who thought, and in many cases still think, they could solve a case with so many unanswered questions. Through it all, the victims were often pushed out of their own stories. We wanted to reclaim this from this maelstrom of social media. I will say a lot of those people on social media are very well-meaning, but there is a fervor around this case in which the victims can get lost. And this is Hunter Chapin. And he said straight up, you guys, meaning people blaming him, people putting out misinformation, are not allowing him to grieve. You're hurting his grieving process. He really actually said that. Garbus, one of the co-founders of the series producer Story Syndicate, took a similar approach earlier this year with Gone Girls, the Long Island serial killer, which chronicled the decades-long killing spree of sex workers around Gilgo Beach. The opposite happened for Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan after the news broke that they had been murdered. In this case, the entire world was wanting to solve this, casting aspersions on boyfriends and developing conspiracy theories that really overtook those who were living through this heart of darkness. What I'm proud of is we were able to not just talk about them as victims, but get to know them as people. And actually, it really was a good documentary that we got to go inside Ethan or Maddie's room at her mom's. We found out that Ethan's family wasn't able to let him go, so to speak. So he's in their basement, and his dad said he goes down there and talks to him quite a bit. And they have his Jeep in the garage. And his dad takes care of his Jeep, and he said it still smells like Ethan. It's really sad. Also featured in the documentary are members of the friend group, including Hunter, Emily, and Josie. Okay, so none of these questions the docuseries could answer, especially since law enforcement and the surviving roommates, Dylan and Bethany, have been under a gag order since the murders and remain so until a verdict is reached. That date will now be July 23rd sentencing hearing. But Galkin says the answers many outside observers hoped the trial would offer were never the only priority for the families. I think anyone interested in this case obviously would like to have an answer of why this happened at all. I don't necessarily want to speak on behalf of the Chapins or the Laramies, but they were never involved in the investigative details of the case. They were focused on their own grief and ultimately their own healing. I've had conversation with Stacy Chapin before, and she said, well, who cares? It's not going to bring Ethan back. So answering the question of why is not foremost on her mind. So I think that shows you the differences between the families. You have the Gonsalves family. They want closure by justice. And justice to them meant this dude is told you no longer have the right to live. You have sacrificed your right to live. That's what they want. These two, they wanted to focus on their grief. They wanted to focus on their kids and how their new normal is going to be. I mean, everybody's different. You can't blame the Gonsalves family for not acting like someone else. It's just not fair. Without the insight of law enforcement and the eyewitness accounts directly from Dylan and Bethany, Galkin and Garbus learned even more heavily into the stories of the victims. They combed through years of social media posts that unintentionally immortalized a friend group that was chronically online. That was another thing that Emily said as well, was like, we never realized we needed to put our social medias on private, but now we do. Oh, wow. The King Road house rebuilt on a Brooklyn soundstage. So remember, for those of you that were watching with us last night, look at this. This is how they reenacted Maddie's room. And Maddie's mother, here, let me zoom this in. Maddie's mom said that a lot of the stuff they weren't able to get back, which means in Maddie's room, that must have meant there was blood on those things. But what she did get back was the yellow Idaho cutoff sweatshirt that Maddie was wearing in those last pictures. Hey, Kels. But that's the reenactment of Maddie's bedroom right there. And that's probably pretty damn close to how it was since Maddie's mom was working with them, right? Her boots in the window, the M in the window. She actually had the M in the boots in Maddie's room at the house, at her house. I feel like Ethan's mom and dad were upset that he was at that house. I got that feeling in the beginning, too, that they weren't too happy about it. She said she didn't get her body back. No, I didn't hear that. I heard her say that she didn't get... Yeah, sure, Jeff. She didn't get a lot of the stuff back because she wasn't able to, because they specifically asked, did you not want the stuff back, or were you not able to get it back? And they said they weren't able to. There's the article right there, Jeff. So this is where they reenacted for the documentary Maddie's bedroom. That's what we're looking at. The mountain of visuals also offered the filmmakers an opportunity to faithfully and meticulously rebuild portions of the house at 1122 King Road, which was torn down in December of 2023, after it had become a gruesome tourist attraction. Using social media posts, insight from their friends, and even blueprints of the original home, the series' creative team rebuilt the main entryway and staircase, the living room, Xana's bedroom, Maddie's bedroom, and a small part of Dylan's bedroom to scale on a soundstage in Brooklyn. To put the viewer inside the home, well, I don't know if it was all evidence, but I think that a lot of it had blood on it, because we saw them carrying out like Maddie's desk and there was blood on the legs of the desk. And they're just not going to clean blood off and give it back. So anything that was bloody, these parents are not going to get back. To put the viewer inside the home, the team sourced all furniture and wall treatments for each room from the original vendors. The set build and shoot took about a week, but the entire process, including research, drafting, and prep, took months. Hey, Joe Madre. We took that very seriously, Hawkins says. It was uncanny to the point when we showed the series to the Chapin and Laramie families, they both turned to me and asked, how did you guys get inside the house? Obviously, this was a house they knew very well. We had the ability to do this really accurately, and so we decided to capitalize on that because it's important to get the details right. It really was crazy. We were like, where did they get this footage from? Even armed with intense research, the directors were still confronted with surprises as they interviewed the family. In the final episode, Ethan's father, Jim, unexpectedly shares what happened to his son's cremated remains. The family couldn't decide where he should be buried, so they brought him home. As Jim explains, they now visit with him every day, and when one of them passes, he will be buried with them. Until then, they didn't want him to be alone. The Chapin family had told Gawkin nothing was off the table when they agreed to the interviews. If they were going to do this, they wanted to do it. But even he was taken aback at this admission. I was really shocked they were so candid about, these sensitive topics, like his remains. Oh, I'm so sorry, Johnny. I didn't know that Ethan's remains were in the house at all, he says. It was nothing that had ever come up in any of our pre-interviews or earlier conversations. So when Jim said that to me, I started crying in the interview. The way he tells that story is so moving. I'm glad we were able to capture it on camera. It is truly such a beautiful moment. Obviously, you feel the loss through the whole series, but that's really a moment that crystallized it for me when we were shooting. It's really heartbreaking. And then here's Ethan's mom. She told the story about finding out while she was in the grocery store. Both the Chapins and Laramie's were able to watch the series with Gawkin and Garbus before its release and prior to Kohberger's plea deal. As filmmakers, it was what you hoped for. Karen Laramie described feeling a kind of lightness she hadn't felt since the murders. So I think there's something very healing there. When the news of the plea deal broke, questions circulated about what should happen to the docuseries. Should it be shelved out of respect? Does it even matter now because the ending is already written? But Gawkin is adamant that because their focus was always the victims, Kohberger's plea only changed one thing. It changes the ending, he said. We changed the final card, but I don't think knowing the ending completely changes the way you should look at these 4 hours. The filmmakers had planned to cover the trial and potentially revisit the story with a possible second installment of the documentary. Without a trial, though, Gawkin says they don't know what's next. He remains close with the Chapins, with whom he attended the July 2nd hearing. As for the new interview subjects, he says they are interested in talking to law enforcement about the investigation and would consider reaching out to the survivors to tell their story, which remains something that's been revealed only through affidavits. But as of now, there is no formal plan in place for a follow-up. If there is an appetite, if there is more story to tell, 100% yes. But until then, we're not going to put that kind of media attention on people because you are entering their lives when you reach out to someone who has been going through something like this. So if we did it, we'd want to do it as gently and delicately as possible. And without an actual production, there's really no reason to reach out to them. So we'll wait and see what happens. For now, Gawkin will be in the courtroom on July 23rd for the final appearance of Kohberger for sentencing. It will be the last time the families can give victim impact statements and address the man who on July 2nd confirmed to a judge that he accepted the plea deal because he did, in fact, kill Xana, Ethan, Maddie, and Kaylee. It isn't known whether Kohberger will speak to share his motive or what really happened, but Gawkin says decisions are being made as to who among the Chapin or Laramie families might take the opportunity to do so. I'm glad I could be there for the families. Both of them were incredibly brave to be there and face all this and come out publicly and support this, even if there are other families that don't necessarily feel the same way. Because they are finding peace in this decision, it brings me peace. If it's good with them, then it's good with me. Yeah, the wording, appetite, the appetite and the, what was the other word he used? Was a little weird. But, you know, if the Chapins respect these producers, then who are we? Lucia, he says he's not going, no. He says he's not going. We may never know why he chose them, though. We may never know. Simpson Road, I thought it was very good, too, and it didn't focus on Kohberger. Same. We can play some of it. Let's go to Kick. We can play a little bit of clips. And then you guys can go watch it over there if you want. Let me see if I can find some of the spots here. The very first episode is a total tearjerker, right? Let's listen to Ethan's dad. I like Ethan's family. I liked hearing about Ethan's family. Here, let's see what they say here. Oh, Xana.
In Maisie. Ethan, with his personality, I'd say was like almost magnetic. He was a natural leader in that way. And I was perfectly fine being the follower because he'd always have something fun to do and we'd always go and do it.
Ethan was definitely like the leader. Like I would go to him and Hunter would go to him.
We were always together. There was never a time.
Look at these photos, guys. They shared so many cool photos of these kids when they were little. Look. Watch. I know it's hard having kids their age, right? Look at them. I mean, look at Ethan. He was like the glue that held the triplets together. It's so sad. Ooh, really, Flo? Ooh, I need that. I need that airmail article. Oh, I saw that too, Sarah, when she went to CrimeCon. Drary Cow, the plastic surgeon? Who's Shadow Dragon? I don't know who that is.
Where we were separated. We were raised very centered around family. So we were friends with everyone, but we were best friends with each other.
Our kids are IVF. They're true test tube babies.
So we were friends with everyone, but we were best friends with each other.
Look how young they are there. Look at Stacy Chapin. You didn't know he was a triplet? Yeah, it's so sad. Oh, Shadow Dragon.
Our kids are IVF. They're true test tube babies. So you go through that whole process. So we were at the doctor and, had to do an ultrasound to see if I was pregnant. And
I said, oh my gosh, I'm your new neighbor. I actually just signed a lease right across the street. Here's where.
See, this is where I was telling you this girl. We're going to skip forward, though. This is the first episode. Let's go. You guys got to hear this. You guys got to hear this right here.
Walking up, and I remember us all turning and being like, oh my God, like somebody's going to have to tell him what just happened.
I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, where's Ethan? And they're like, Ethan's not here anymore. What do you mean Ethan's not here anymore? I was like, where'd he go? They're like, your brother's dead. I was like, that can't be true.
Awful. Awful. Where were the Moscow police? You know what I mean? Where were the Moscow police? Why was this kid allowed, thank you, Kels, to be by himself? Sickening. Ooh, thank you, Kels. I'll be reading the latest airmail. I'll probably record it and release. What is this and where did it air? It aired on Prime and on my Kick. I played it on Kick last night. I have to keep pausing for fair use. You guys know the routine.
And then Hunter Johnson was like, I think Xana, Ethan were murdered last night. Didn't even know how to respond to it because it's like so unreal that someone I'd spent almost every minute of my life with. I don't even know. Just starting.
Poor guy.
The first person I called was Maisie.
Literally all Hunter said was, you just need to come to Xana's. And I asked him why.
So add another family member, right? Here's all these kids sitting in the road for hours, right? And now we've got sibling number 2 on their way over to the crime scene where their brother's dead. It's horrible. Oh, no, they didn't learn crimes. Chief Fry said, I'm retiring. I'm retiring. Oh, how fucking convenient. He didn't retire. He's a chief in Washington State at another department. They're not ashamed. They didn't learn anything. They just shifted the motherfucker over. I got no respect. No respect.
And he was like, just come.
Don't ask any questions. Have someone drop you off.
I remember sitting in the car, feeling like...
Horrible.
I was like feeling like something was wrong. It was weird.
She knew.
I just knew.
She knew, man. Fucking horrible.
I was at the grocery store. I'd run into a friend and we were standing having a short little, hello conversation. And my phone started to ring and it was Hunter's voice.
This is so sad.
He just said, Ethan's not here. That's what he said. He goes, Ethan's not here. And I'm like, well, go get him. And he just kept repeating it. Like, they're not, no, you don't understand what I'm telling you, Mom. They're not here.
Whew. Can you imagine? I got to skip forward. I can't watch that part again. And Maddie's mother is just absolutely heartbreaking, too, in this. Here's the creators put on blast. You ready? Drunk Turkey put on blast for spreading misinformation. Here we go.
We're members of.
And JLR. JLR and Drunk Turkey. I don't remember who else. A bunch of TikTokers.
Professional journalists. They're not media. They're just looky-loos trying to gather information to tell a story that they think is relevant for them.
There was like YouTubers, like sleuths that would like go through the entire case.
How long would it take to get those records?
They threw ethics out the window. They dressed up as students and went into the dorms.
Who did that? Who went in the dorms dressed as students?
To try and find information.
See this?
That's another thing that I was kind of disturbed about is that
they
Moscow
dressed up as students and went into the dorms.
Moscow
to
put
try
these
and
flyers
find
out.
Information.
See this?
See these flyers on the door? This is what the cops put out there. And these flyers said, hey, check your surveillance cameras. Why weren't they going door to door? Why didn't they go door to door? Are you going to believe him, Liza? Because I don't think I'd believe him even if he did tell us what happened. So if he tells us, oh, Maddie wouldn't, I hated Maddie because she was a blonde sorority girl and she would never give me attention. Would you feel any better? Would you feel like you had answers? Would it make sense to you? No, it wouldn't. Nothing is ever going to make sense about this. Never, in my opinion, anyways.
They got a hold of so many pictures and videos on social media. We all posted our lives together, pictures hanging out, pictures at that house. There's usually not that many pictures of a crime scene on social media.
So here's the living room, and we're gonna go into Xana's bedroom.
I was pretty bad about it. I was on my TikTok for hours every day, looking at everything.
There is only one spot in that backyard that is dark enough.
Oh, God. Can you believe Well, she's always in the here for shameful reasons.
That somebody could have gotten into. And the spot was
in the door.
Kevin, is that supposed to be funny, or I don't get it?
And he started showing up places.
They're talking about JLR here.
There was one particular guy.
I can't with his duck lips. I can't.
He started making YouTube videos, and he started showing up places.
Who is that guy?
He's like, who is that guy?
Who is that guy? Who's going to answer the door?
We had students going into hiding as a result of that incessant hounding from these horrible people that were just trying to do it for their own gain.
Listen, Blake Eccles. The students weren't in hiding from the media. The students were in hiding from a fucking killer, right? From someone who's a fucking killer who targeted their friends.
Benefit.
I'm here. They have the EX. A lot of people are saying symbolism with Ethan and Xana, Sigma Chi.
There was rumors about one of the Sigma Chi's could have done it, like followed them home from the Sigma Chi party that was happening that night.
And I think people had targeted me specifically because I did have a lot of kind of public information out there.
So this guy, David, was the one that was targeted with the mask and everything. He was actually the sober person that night.
We're talking about a potential mystery man that was at the house twice.
YouTubers found out we got a lot of noise complaints at Santa's house. So there was a police video of Hunter Johnson going to the door.
Yep, remember this? Remember this with the zip ties and look at put on blast. Put on blast.
He had some zip ties around his wrist. What do you guys think?
A lot of people have just suggested it's like a drinking game.
If you guys know who this gentleman is, please hit us up.
Oh my God. If you know this guy, please hit us up. He's a kid. He's a kid. Why? Why?
Wrist tie guy. That was my name there for a little bit.
Poor Hunter. Wrist tie guy.
A lot of people have just suggested it's like a drinking game.
If you guys know who this gentleman is, please hit us up.
Wrist tie guy.
Why? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if people know him? I mean, what? This is what the shit's gotta stop, man. If you know this guy, hit us up. He's a college kid. Leave him alone.
What do you guys think?
A lot of people have just suggested it's like a drinking game.
If you guys know who this gentleman is, please hit us up.
Wrist tie guy. That was my name there for a little bit.
We play a game called Champagne and Shackles. You zip tie together until each of you finish your champagne.
Right. You're zip tied together until you finish your fucking drink. If you guys know this guy, have him hit me up. Hit me up.
Ultimately,
that's how it all began.
Sources are claiming.
There you go, Hunter. That's how it all began. Right here. Do better. Do better.
That Ethan Chapin's best friend, who was there and preventing the other friends from entering the room, he checked Ethan's pulse and he was the one to call 911.
There was a lot of people commenting on social media, just like, I know what you did, like, we're gonna come find you.
Hey,
Found
body.
some stuff about HJ and then this Emily girl.
See, here we
these
go.
Friends, conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. And it's got like 5 million likes.
I think everybody needs to hear this. You know? Isn't this the guy Steve talked to? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we were getting death threats daily.
Yeah, the channel's still around. They just put out a video last night that Bryan Kohberger's doing a tell-all. I mean, let's be honest here. Let's not sugarcoat the shit. He apologized for putting Hunter Johnson on blast. So then he does a live last night saying that there's a fucking tell-all and he's got some doctor with credentials on his show co-signing it. That's called misinformation. I don't give a fuck who it's from. Sick of this. I'm sick of it. Sick to death.
The movie, people were thinking that we were murderers.
I've always tried to be a tough kid, super tough. And I think in the moment, I battled with a little bit of anxiety and depression, which I've never had before. I had some panic attacks, and I think that it's because I didn't let any of my emotions out ever, and I think my body was just doing it for me.
I feel so bad for Emily and Hunter. So bad for them. Jay, look at his title from last night after I already debunked it. He does a live doing the opposite. I know. He said there's a tell-all coming. Clicks and views, man. I'm telling you, these people, they get a little bit of clout and they run with anything. And it's just not right.
I lost a best friend. People thought I killed him. That was really depressing for me.
Oof. They really, really put JLR on blast here. I'm not going to read it, but I think we can all learn and do better. And I think Jonathan has done better. I mean, I'm not going to speak for him, but yeah.
That I would even do that to any of those people that I was friends with, I thought was pretty sad, but
We were just also so scared still, and then we were getting people that were like, we will find you. And it's like, you probably will. Like, you know, like, this is going to be a problem.
it wasn't only us. Dylan and Bethany were getting blamed for everything.
Dylan and Bethany were completely slandered on the internet.
You mean to tell me that Dylan, she didn't hear someone walking up and down?
Right. I mean, Titanium, if the misspellings in the article don't tell you that it's fake, I don't know what does. I mean, all the networks would be reporting this if it was true. I can't. I just can't. And I'm glad they are too, Titanium. I am. Enough is enough, man. It's been almost 3 years of this bullshit.
Those stairs?
It really is bizarre that they just slept through this.
Look at these. Look at these comments. Look at this. It's Dylan's fault. Her friends died. Shrug. I hope she feels the guilt forever and it haunts her. Laughing face, laughing face.
Dylan and Bethany's gotten a lot of hate. Attacked online, brutally, and they don't deserve it at all.
I just don't think people should be saying anything when they don't know, because they weren't there and they didn't do anything.
There's so many people out there that start a theory with close relationships. That's an easy way to go about any theory, is to find who they're close to. And people always suspect the boyfriend.
I got to pause for a second just because fair use. Yeah, there's still people rolling with that. It's horrible. It's horrible. Urban, that's so true.
Friend.
Maddie had a boyfriend.
Look how tiny Maddie Mogan was. Look how freaking tiny she was. It's insane.
Jake. Jake would come to the house and he was talking about how his social media was being attacked. He was actively being harassed online as the suspect.
I felt bad. That poor kid. And he came over to our house and he'd stay there because he felt safer.
So this is Maddie's stepdad. And Jake, her boyfriend, would stay with them because he was fucking scared.
in case anybody, wanted to try to pull something.
Jake was not in Moscow the night that it happened. He was in Boise.
There you go. Jake wasn't even in Moscow that night. He was in Boise. Hey, Quinn.
So any of those rumors that he was involved were ridiculous.
It was happening to Kaylee's boyfriend, Jack, as well. He was being stalked, reporters outside of his house. It was ridiculous.
It was hard to read things or hear things about Jack because obviously we know who he is, and that was obviously not the case in any way possible. I think it was also hard because when it came to Kaylee, like, she thought the best of Jack.
It's really sad.
Like, she looked at Jack and just knew how great of a person he was, and so I think to think about her hearing these things was super hard.
We were all scared that we were being stalked, even if we didn't realize we were.
See? Even the parents felt stalked and scared. None of these people felt any relief. They weren't getting any information. They were scared. And the internet was going wild, blaming them all. Ugh.
By social media sleuths, people trying to get any bit of information that they could create a story out of.
Oh, yeah. Listening to these press conferences was kind of jarring as well. Knowing how Moscow was treating the victims, like they weren't getting any communication, and the students either. Here's Lanier.
Good afternoon. I want to address several areas of speculation, conjecture, and misinformation that has circulated on social media platforms and otherwise. We do not believe the following individuals are involved in this crime. The two surviving roommates.
Hey, Jessica.
A male seen at the grub truck food vendor downtown, specifically wearing a white hoodie.
Okay, let's talk about hoodie guy. So they also said that when they first saw the grub truck video, the friends, that is, they were sus of the hoodie guy too. They were in the same boat as us. They were scared of who did this as well. So they were looking at hoodie guy like, why is he acting so strange?
Currently, there are no suspects in custody, and we have not located a weapon.
They're not addressing every rumor, but they're clearing suspects publicly. And the community, in part because of the speculation online, was grateful that police were clearing these people who were being targeted or doxxed online.
So many people close to this dropped out of school, deleted social media, quit their jobs because they were getting so harassed by the onslaught of attention and sleuthing. It's so terrible, and people don't understand that what they do online has real-life consequences for the people involved in this.
There was some frustration that all police were saying is this is who didn't do it, but weren't.
Okay, hold on. Let's skip forward to. I want to show you guys where they show the inside of the house, where they say what they think happened. Hold on.
Questions we still don't have answers to.
What I don't quite understand at this time is the police were not called until about noon the next day.
Why was there such a delay?
The biggest detail from the affidavit was that one of the surviving roommates actually saw someone in the house in the early morning hours of November 13th. There was an actual visual witness.
Check this out. Did you see that?
One in this house saw him.
This is the reenactment of the house.
I think she was confused and has battled with, what if I actually knew what was going on?
So Emily kind of speaks for Dylan in this documentary, you guys. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Here's the night of.
A few weeks after that night, Dylan had expressed to me what happened.
So Emily's speaking for
She
Dylan.
heard Kaylee and Maddie come home, and she heard them chit-chatting on the couch for a while. The couch was on the wall of her bedroom, and she was pretty much sleeping through it.
The surviving roommates, Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen, confirmed that all members of the King Road residence were asleep by 4 a.m.
Right there.
Surviving roommates, Bethany Funk and
Maddie's
Dylan Mortensen, confirmed that all members.
So there's Maddie's sweatshirt. Her mom actually got that back, and they have it draped on the desk of her chair in her makeshift room. That's the actual sweatshirt she was wearing, too.
Of the King Road residents were asleep by 4 a.m. That's with the exception of Xana Kernodle at 4 a.m. DoorDash drops off an order for Xana.
At 4:05 a.m., a white Elantra is seen driving in front of the King Road house, making a turn, and then parking.
And cell phone data shows that Xana was.
Yeah, they show Brian Enton in people's faces when they talk about the media being there. Yeah. They weren't very liking the media coverage.
On TikTok around 4:12 a.m.
That is when Dylan hears some commotion kind of upstairs. She thought she heard someone say, "There's someone here." She looked out of her bedroom door on the second floor and didn't see anything.
Dylan said that she remembered hearing crying.
And she thought she heard a male voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you."
Video from next door at 4:17 a.m. captures the sound of a whimper and a loud thud. A dog barking can also be heard on the footage.
Dylan opens her door for a third time, and she describes seeing a man with bushy eyebrows.
This person walked past her bedroom and out the sliding glass door of the back room.
She said that she just scaredly closed the door. Like, boom.
And we all know within seconds she was texting and calling everyone. She didn't just go to bed and act like nothing ever happened. She was trying to get a hold of people.
Dylan got really scared. She was trying to lock her door, and she started calling Bethany, calling Xana, calling Ethan, calling Kaylee, calling Maddie, trying to see if anyone's awake. Because she's like, what the hell's going on? Someone needs to get up and tell me who was here. Eventually, she just decided to go for it. And she made a run for it to Bethany's room down in the basement. Dylan was like, did you hear any of that? And Heather was like, no. And so I think that Dylan was probably just like, I must have imagined it. And if you didn't hear anything, then let's go to bed together safely.
I think that she 100% heard the murders of Xana and Ethan.
I am
Oh, all these TikTokers, y'all. I just can't with them.
confused on how one of the roommates saw him, but then the cops were not called until noon.
8 hours were in between.
I have no words.
When we hear stories about people faced with something that's...
I'm sure Dylan and Bethany see these hurtful comments and they can't really say anything back to it. But, you know, they are not speaking out for obvious reasons, legal reasons. And that's what the public, I don't think, necessarily understands.
So they haven't even been able to defend themselves because they've been gagged. When you said her sweatshirt, you mean one she owned, no had on that night? No, the one that's in the pictures from the day before that Maddie was wearing on the 12th, the Idaho sweatshirt, you know, the pictures of all four of them that are iconic now. That same sweatshirt, that's the one that her mom got back.
I think it's very important for everybody to know that what if doesn't matter, because
This is the new series, Janet, that came out on Prime yesterday.
if she had known what was going on, it would have been too late anyways.
Here's the link if you guys want to watch all 4 episodes.
It wasn't until the morning when she realized, holy shit, that couldn't have been a dream. And that's when I got my phone call from her. They hadn't even gone upstairs or anything. She just called and said, something weird happened. I thought it was a dream. I'm not quite sure anymore. I tried to call everybody to wake them up and no one's answering. I was like, okay, I'll come over.
That morning, Emily had said, like, Dylan wants us to come over. And I remember when I stepped foot in the house, Hunter was like, get out, somebody call 911. Dylan was the one that was on the phone with 911, and I had to take the phone from her because she was so completely hysterical.
See, so this girl is the one that actually grabbed the phone. I know, Titanium, that's where I'm going to head. It's been raining all morning. I'm hoping that I can get to the pool today for a little bit. Right, Donnie. And that was, I think, the police's fault. They really didn't. They could have given information they didn't give, and it hurt these people instead.
They're like, what's the address? What's the address? What's the address? I was like, 1122 King Road.
Mittens, that's right.
Police entered the house and went up to the 2nd floor. They went into Xana's bedroom and found her and Ethan dead with stab wounds.
So here we have the reenactment of the house again. They rebuilt these stairs. And I think they did a fabulous job.
House and went up to the 2nd floor. They.
So there's Xana's room. There's the furry chair that we heard that Bryan Kohberger sat down in for a few seconds and left blood. So do we think that he wiped the blood on his jumpsuit, like, and then sat down? Were they able to determine whose blood was on the chair? I wonder.
Went into Xana's bedroom and found her and Ethan dead with stab wounds.
Wow. So this is what Xana's room looked like, y'all. Look at even the basket of clothes they have. I mean, they did a really good job on this.
Police then went up to the 3rd floor and into Maddie's bedroom.
Okay, so here's what Maddie's bedroom looked like. And this was obviously done with the help of her mom. And there's Maddie's sweatshirt. There's the desk that we saw carried out with blood on the legs. Wow.
Where they found both
God, it's sad.
Maddie and Kaylee in Maddie's bed, dead with multiple stab wounds.
I believe what you're going to find out is that this killer was stalking a particular individual.
Maddie could have been an intended target because both Kaylee and Maddie were sleeping together.
To stalk them, and I don't know how we knew where they lived. We don't hang out with Wazoo people, so I just don't know how they would have ever, like, met for him to stalk them, and I don't know how we knew where they lived.
That's what that was, you guys. Look at that's a window. Remember we were wondering what was up there? Oh, man. Maddie and Kaylee's blood was transferred to Xana's room. You know, I thought was funny because I think Xana, I mean, I obviously had a great sense of humor and was a lot of fun. You can tell from her videos and the stories we hear that she was just a cool girl, right? And Emily said that when she first, I think it was Emily, said when she first met Xana, Xana said, "Hi, my name's Xana." It's like Xanax without the X. Yeah, I think that's the bathroom. Mm-hmm. It might be a mirror or a window or something. I think that's the bathroom upstairs by Maddie's room.
One of the things that makes this case strange is that most often the perpetrator knows the victim, but we still do not know if Kohberger did it at all, and if he did it, if he had a relationship at all with these victims. Did he know them at all? Those are answers we don't have yet, because when it comes to Bryan Kohberger, we know very little about
much mind to him.
Oh,
personal.
Commit crimes.
Okay, so here's some info about DeSales. Let's fast forward here.
What the hell?
More isolated.
Look at this shit. This is scary.
Have this.
Okay, listen. This is gonna
The
freak you out.
attention from
This is gonna freak you
Later
out.
that
Here we go. Elliot Rogers, Bryan Kohberger studied at DeSales.
he was fired from his TA-ship.
He got more feisty and belligerent, even arguing with his professors, until December 19th, Bryan Kohberger is officially terminated by Washington State University.
And I'm pushing him for documents. I want to know about the stuff about Kohberger with the girls, if that's true. I want to see his record. But again, it's just tricky because there's rumors about his behavior at the school, but none of it's verified until we have the documentation.
Here we go with
at DeSales University. Some of the people that Bryan and I studied that were serial killers were Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ed Kempfer, and Elliot Rodger. So Elliot Rodger, he was a young man in college that was basically jaded and hated his life because he lacked the attention from friends, family, and most of all, women.
So here we go. Elliot Rodger, Papa Rodger.
So Elliot Rodger, one day, first he invited some people over that he claimed to be friends with. He stabbed them to death. He then went out with firearms to a sorority and killed a number of women in the sorority. He then drove around, shot multiple other people in public, and he ended his own life in his vehicle. But after the fact, there was a written manifesto, and he basically tells you, this is what I did, this is why I did it.
Rodger's sexist rants are part of a culture that breeds violence against women. Rodger wrote, "All of those beautiful girls I've desired so much in my life, but can never have because they despise and loathe me, I will destroy."
After Bryan Kohberger is arrested, I start thinking, okay, Papa Rodger, Elliot Rodger. If you listen to some of the manifestos of Elliot Rodger, he talks about hating all the girls from Alpha Phi, the same sorority that Kaylee was in.
Bryan was interested in a lot of things that we learned.
Look at Bryan. There's a picture of Bryan looking in the microscope. I wonder if he just saw his own eyebrows. It was the same one as Kaylee. Yep. Body, he had a Maddie that rejected him. Yep.
But he did have more of an interest in Elliot Rodger. I talked to other girls in the class where we were all bothered by what Elliot Rodger did, but Bryan did not seem bothered.
Incel, in my professional opinion, this is a particularly dangerous version of misogyny because incel communities have this.
Wait till you see these posts. Look at this. Look at this. I hope BK is confirmed as an incel so normies know we're not playing around. All hail Butcher Cell Bryan. He did what Elliot Rodgers couldn't. Look at the fucking picture on the screen. Sick. but he ended in a martyrdom. This is real. This community exists. It's the incel community.
It was just so terrible. For a while, there was actually a subreddit called Bryan Nation.
Look at this. Bryan fan fiction. I wrote a fan fiction about Bryan. It's password protected, so comment for password. Look at Bryan Nation, subreddit for Bryan Kohberger's girls. This is disturbing as
It was
AF.
sort of this Bryan Kohberger fan club where people were posing all these theories about how he could be innocent.
Look at this. My true crime shelf. I can't wait for books to be written about him so I can add them. Look at the knife. What the freak?
And writing him letters in jail and women sending him money, which is...
Look at that. I'm designing November 21st is Bryan Kohberger Day. Let's all have fun and celebrate Bryan.
It's really something else.
Finally got my Bryan Nation flag. Baby Bry. Oh my God.
We know with the advent of social media, people are...
I highly recommend getting a pillow of Bryan. It makes me feel close to him when I lay on it.
Becoming more lonely, more isolated.
Sick. Baby Bry.
So I think this problem is...
I made myself some new Bryan stuff to wear. Ew, look at the necklaces.
Likely growing as we see people become more isolated due to technology.
When they caught Bryan Kohberger, there's like all the fake accounts that came on Instagram pretending to be Bryan Kohberger. And I got a DM from one of them that was like, "Hey, it's Bryan, sorry for killing your friends." And I like read it and I was like, what the hell? I just remember seeing that and I was like, I can't believe like so many sad...
Look at this. This poor girl got this message from someone posing as Bryan. Hey, it's Bryan. Sorry about the bitches. Laughing face.
Down and wrote that. It almost was like scary. So I was like, this is like means that people are like capable of like copycatting it. Scary. So I was like,
look at this one.
This is like means that people are like capable of like copycatting it.
Look at this one. They have the crime scene as the cover photo. Oh my God, Ernie. I'm the smartest guy in town. He probably made some of these.
Until there is a mechanism to stop this kind of thing from happening on social media, it's always going to continue happening and it's going to get worse. I mean, since this case specifically, the King Road house has basically become a tourist attraction.
This is where Bryan shitbag Kohberger murdered Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, and Maddie.
Idaho, where prosecutors have filed to seek the death penalty.
Let's skip forward a little bit here. Here we go. I want you.
My kids, when this heinous thing happened, was
This
like,
is the
this
last
won't
part we're
sink
gonna
us as a family. We'll figure it out together. We'd spent 5 months in the depths of hell. And then we just realized, okay, we just have to figure out how to move forward. So we just made a deal with each other that from that day forward, for our kids, for our family, for our friends, that we would wake up every day and put our best foot forward. You forget you have a choice. You have a choice to get up and to live your best life. But I still can't imagine what it must be like to be Maisie and Hunter. So, I mean, to have that kind of a bond with your sibling, you know, somebody you don't know life without, then have them gone. But it is what it is, honestly.
So sad.
There's
isn't it?
I feel like that's mostly why I just don't pay attention to anything else, because I just focus on like the good things about him, not what all else is going on.
After the memorial, we were gonna meet up at the cemetery and try to find a place to put him. It was very hard for me. I told Stace that we can't do this right now. This isn't gonna happen.
Do you put him in a little crematorium? This wasn't right. Just not a place where you put your, where do you put your kid? Right? Where do you put your kid?
So I decided that the best place for him to be was home.
Have a good day, Joe.
So he will sit in the basement until one of us pass. He's safe. And I can go down and talk to him anytime I want. And I do.
This is where Madison grew up. This is where she lived.
Oh, horrible. Horrible. I'm crying. You're not crying. I'm crying. Oh, it's horrible. Aw, Flo, that's sweet.
We didn't honestly get a lot back. Just to be,
Meaning you didn't want him back, or you just
wasn't able to come back. So the stuff that was able to come back, I went through and like, oh, some of this is silly, some of this is very sentimental. Like I still have the yellow sweater that she was wearing that day. The sleeves are still rolled up.
This is a sweet story.
So I found this sweatshirt when we went down. It was the first family weekend. And Maddie really wanted this sweatshirt. And it wasn't in her size. We couldn't find it. And I found it in like a total different place. And when I found it, I was like, Scott, look, we found the sweater. And then I'm on video with her and she's cutting it. I'm like, we were on FaceTime. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, this is how everything is worn, Mom. I'm like, okay, I gotta get used to this. I gotta let it be. But yes, super glad we got that back.
So she was able to get that back. Isn't that crazy? Sad. Whew. And think of the Gonsalves sending Aubrey off to college. How do you think they feel? Sending another daughter off to college. I don't know if I could do it.
Really, really bad place. And it's also reminding myself, like, how would Maddie and Kaylee want to see me? Would they want to see me crying in my pajamas and can't get out of bed? or they want to see me talking about them and how happy and how amazing they are. And that's a struggle. You never know how strong you are until strong is all you can be.
Yeah, Maddie was the only child.
This has always been her space, always will be her space. And it's a place to come and just feel at peace, feel her presence.
Don't they? They're like twins.
Since my life changed.
Be funny. And I loved that about him.
Minions! I liked seeing Hunter smile, like remembering Ethan. Oh, it's so sad.
Ethan was very, very witty. I think that was the most noticeable thing about him. He's just always trying to be funny. And I loved that about him.
Minions! Tonight we steal the moon!
I remember all.
We were just goofy college kids, man. What is that?
Anytime that I go to Taco Bell, I think of Ethan. That was his favorite place by far. He was the first person I saw that opened up. He pre-opened up all of his Taco Bell packets so that he wouldn't have to stop eating. He could just feast. And I remember I thought that was the funniest thing. And now every time I go to Taco Bell, I make sure that I, pre-open like 4 or 5 first, so I don't have to stop.
I could go on and on about the person Xana was, but the little memories are what replayed in my head over and over. Her backflips she would attempt, which usually resulted in her failing and popping right back up, laughing, yelling, "I'm okay."
Xana loved music. We called her DJ Xan all through college because she had the best music to play and she was always playing it. She would bring her MacBook almost everywhere, and it doesn't matter where we're at, she would get on any chair and just stand with her laptop.
A lot of things come to my mind when I think about Maddie. Me and my friends would always reenact how she would dance, and we have so many videos of it. Just kind of putting her hand out and bouncing like this. She just never cared who was watching.
They have so many videos.
Kaylee always had such a happy and joyful outlook on life. She was just ambitious and I think she just wanted to experience anything and everything she could. And that was how she was going to live her life. She decided it and she just did it. Whenever there's a nice sunset or really pretty sunset, we'll always text each other and be like, "Oh, Kaylee's saying hi."
Oh, here. This is about the house.
My memories are what replayed.
That was
Okay, listen to this part.
Everything, slowly.
I want you guys to hear this
Xana
about
still loved
Ethan and
Xana, Madison.
I want you guys to hear about Hunter and Emily.
I don't think there'll ever be a full acceptance and closure of this.
See, there's the sweatshirt she was wearing the day before, right there. Oh, I know, Urban. It is. The more you know, the worse it gets.
Horrible thing that happened.
This is Hunter and Emily now.
When you put that sweet soy glaze thing in here now?
Oh, I don't know. Read about it.
We graduated, and we've been in Boise since 2023 of February. We just have been putting pieces together since everything, slowly. We were forced to grow up, and there was never you never get told when you're gonna have to grow up. It's just that was when it was for us.
There's no longer thoughts of,
Okay. Ginger peoples, stop it. What kids are alive in witness protection? Who even thinks that? Are you saying the victims are alive? I guess before I go off on you, I should ask. Who's in witness protection? And if you think the victims are alive and this never happened, you are fucking crazy. Please.
the world being a sweet, great place that you always know and truly believed it was. You know, I had long life goals for myself. I had a vision of what I wanted my life to look like, and I've given up on some of my goals just because I realized I'm a different person. I'm still working on the new me to be able to.
See her? Keep fucking with her. Keep saying she knew shit. Keep saying she did something. I mean, you want to break someone? Here you go.
I've given up on some of my goals just because I realized I'm a different person. I'm still working on the new me to be able to get to a place to set goals again.
I hang out with a completely new group of people at U of I now. And it's kind of sad to say that, but it just was like, at the time, it was nice to be with people that, like, honestly didn't personally know them, which is so weird to say.
It's a very bittersweet moment to say goodbye to my apartment. This was my first off-campus housing apartment. I loved it. Now I'm moving out. This is my spare bedroom. This window faces 1122 King Road. They still have the same caution tape up 300 and...
Imagine looking out your bedroom window and seeing your friend's house where they were killed.
68 days later. It's a constant reminder that that's a crime scene that is still ongoing.
You have to look at things from other perspectives, Ginger. When you look at things from one perspective, that's where you get all fucked up with your tinfoil and shit. Oh, they're in witness protection. It never happened. They faked their deaths. Fucking weirdo.
My first 2 weeks back into school, I didn't handle it very well. It's been a long road of emotions and roller coaster rides. It's like separation anxiety almost. Finally, I'm doing pretty well though. A lot of people really helped me out and helped me get my life back on track. But my window is on the very end of our fraternity, which faces the opening of where that house is. So I wake up every morning and I open up the blinds, and that house is the first thing I see, boarded up.
Let's let
like
the mods help you out, Ginger. Can the mods help her find the door? Because you are the most disrespectful weirdo that I've had come in here in a long time. Body. Right, Janet. I mean, it's not hard to put yourself in the shoes of someone else. If you have a little bit of fucking empathy, all you need is a little empathy. Scary how many people don't possess empathy.
Shit over there. I just want it to go away so I don't have to look at it anymore.
Thank you, Potato.
It's a haunting reminder of an unthinkable tragedy, but soon the house at 1122 King Road will stand no more. The University of Idaho is saying in a statement, it's time for its removal and to allow the collective healing of our community to continue.
Excuse me. Oh, we've got an even more bullshit comment in chat. Penny Monroe, like you do with Brittany. Penny Monroe, are you coming in here comparing a YouTube creator who grifts, lies, and spreads misinformation and files frivolous lawsuits against other creators to the victims of the Idaho 4 murders? Are you, Penny Monroe? Penny, you really think that Brittany Jackson is comparable to Xana, Kaylee, Maddie, and Ethan? Is that what you're doing? You're putting Brittany J., who grifts and lies and puts people's real life in jeopardy, to the victims of a quadruple stabbing while they were in their home, in bed, in the middle of the night? Are you out of your fucking mind? Hey, Penny Monroe, kick rocks. Go kick rocks, weirdo. How can you even compare?
We're not mean.
God, you're a weirdo. You are one of them that doesn't have any hope of ever seeing the truth, Penny Monroe. Now Brittany's being compared to the Idaho 4. Get the hell out of here. Blit?
You don't hold account.
Jesus Christ. The most clueless people on the planet come from Brittany J's chats, I swear. Hey, Joey.
There is still so much speculation about what really happened in that house.
But hey, thanks
There
for
are
the
still
view,
so
Penny.
many
Hit the like
unanswered
button.
questions.
Hit the like button, Penny Monroe. All right, so basically that is that. You can watch the whole thing, all 4 episodes. I've got another video I'd like to share with you. Oh, Penny Monroe, you are just deplorable. I mean, for reals. No, not BJ Investigates. No, she's actually legitimate creator. That surprise witness. No, we're talking about some smaller YouTube creator who's a loser. And she's got like a handful of losers that go into my chats and talk about her. It's fucking weird. They're fucking weirdos. They're about as bad as the pro
It has
burgers.
been 2.5 years, and not a day goes by without the Chapin family thinking about what they have lost. Ethan Chapin was just 20 years old.
Okay, here, listen to this. This is kind of a run-on from what we learned in the documentary.
Them in the hours before they learned Kohberger had accepted that plea deal.
Joey, there's no green car. Don't start this.
It's Ethan and Hunter and Jim. They were the cutest kids. I just think about him.
Hi, Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
It's hard. You just miss him walking into a room and saying something funny. He was the king of one-liners. He was so funny. He could just elevate a room. You know, you just miss his presence.
I asked you a year and a half ago, what did you miss most about him? Do you remember what
Still
you
the
told
same,
me?
absolutely. Hugging him in his blue Patagonia coat.
Oh my God, right?
I'd give anything. Yeah.
That was the last thing I did.
Yeah, it was the last time we saw him. Mhm. It was in the parking lot at the Sigma Chi house.
Yeah. I told him, I go.
Yeah.
I always tell my kids, be safe.
Yeah.
You know, I told him, you be safe. He goes, oh yeah, I will.
Just a moment ago, Moscow police confirmed 4 people were found dead in a home just steps away from the University of Idaho campus.
Every single day, there's probably a moment between the two of us where we are just like, boy, how did we ever get here? You imagine your entire life and this isn't how you think it's gonna go. We've come a very, very long ways from that point. I mean, you learn to just tuck him in a place, and for me personally, he's tucked in my heart and my soul, and you really have to work at moving forward.
It's easier now because, you know, the kids are out of college and they seem to be doing very well. And for me, that's a win-win.
I agree, Watermelon.
You sent them back to the University of Idaho. after this all happened. Why was that important to you?
They had to go back.
Yeah.
Why?
Regina, that's really
Because-
sad.
They had to finish what they started.
Yeah.
Honestly, Ethan would want that for them. And we played that card.
Now they're college graduates.
Right.
What was that day like? What was it like?
It was amazing. It's so cool. You know, it's just a very special day.
Jim and I had decided that what we had to do was actually tuck Ethan away for the weekend. The elephant in the room was obvious, but it was all about Maisie and Hunter. They did it. I mean, I say that they went from the bottom to the very top, you know, graduating with honors their last semester, both of them, and the resilience that they have shown is, in my opinion, shocking.
Let's talk about Maisie and Hunter. It's been an adjustment for them too. You shared a story with me about just even getting their driver's license.
Oh yeah, that story is so bittersweet. The DMV lady pulled up their birth dates, and of course there's a third, you know, kid with the same last name on that birth date, and the woman said to them, "Where's Ethan?" So they quickly were like, he's at work. I think they told a lie about where he was, and they left, and they agreed from that day forward to tell people that they were twins.
That's so sad.
And it not to ever downplay the fact that they were triplets, but to eliminate a very uncomfortable conversation. Took us a minute to be like,
I agree,
Yep,
Brenda.
they're twins. I mean,
It's tough.
you have to. You have to. You have to let them say that. Those tiny little things that you don't think about, holy, they're tough.
That makes sense, right? You've got triplets, and then they're like, where's your third one? So the kids decided to say, just to avoid questions, that they're twins. I love the Chapin family. I'm so glad they did this. They really did a nice job doing this. And it really gives us insight to a lot of things we didn't have before. But this is about Ethan's Jeep. Have a nice time,
His truck is
Kels.
still downstairs.
Yeah, his Jeep is here.
He loved that Jeep.
I wonder who that is in the Jeep with him. Was that like an ex-girlfriend? Remember there were pictures of Ethan and a blonde? Yay, have a great day, Kels.
Jeep is here.
He loved that Jeep.
Yeah.
He had a lot of fun with it. Take really good care of it. I mean, he loved it. I talk to him every day. When I'm cleaning this Jeep, I constantly have a conversation with him. I say, hey, I'm cleaning your Jeep again, and you know, I know he can see it. Yeah. I don't know. There's just a lot of him in there. I even it smells like his shirts and stuff. You know, he just I don't know. It's just tough. You know.
Dana,
you know
they
how
did.
much you love this and all.
Dana, they did. They said when they went for Parents Week that it was clear that Xana and Ethan were very much, you know, in love. I don't know if they knew Xana all that well. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how well they actually knew her to speak on her. You know what I mean? Plus, her parents didn't want to be in this, so it's a little weird. But we did learn also, and I don't know if we went over this today, but in the documentary, the Chapins actually took Hunter Johnson in as well. And he stayed at their house. Thank you, Joey.
All the good
Hey, Seymour.
times he had in it. Priceless.
How have you worked through so much grief?
Where do we start?
What's helped us is that we just created all these things in his name, which helps a lot.
I think it's most important that we're on the same page at the end of the day. The divorce rate of a family that loses a child is one of the highest.
So true.
And I can see how, potentially. But just not for us. We just made a decision. We're just going to get through this thing together.
You just have to stay positive because it's so easy
They're
to go
solid,
negative.
man.
And negative's not going to get you anywhere.
There's something good you can find in every single day.
Yeah, I
even
mean,
on the worst day.
In Body, they did say too that when they left that day, they felt like they said to each other, "Yep, we did it. We did it. Our kids are good," you know? And then a week later, they're dead. Really, Princess Elsa? Aw.
Get one good
Yeah.
thing out of the day.
Yeah.
And it could be the smallest of things.
The smallest. On your toughest day, it could be the smallest thing. A beautiful thing for me personally as a mom is that I know, even down to the last minute, that he knew how much he was loved.
I'd say for people, you know, you just make sure you hug your kids before you leave.
Sad. Oh, God. I know it's so horrible. Just a week later, you feel like whew, we can take a sigh, you know, they're going to graduate and they're good. Very solid family. Janet, I think Judge is going to say, yeah, I'll unseal the documents media after July 23rd. Me too, my guess. Thank you guys for joining in today. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I think it's a good note to wrap it up on. Let me share the Kick link with you guys again. And you guys can watch this in your own time. I'll probably watch it again because there was a lot of information. Maybe we could break it down episode by episode. Hey, Nonsense. Good to see you. The very first episode, definitely have your Kleenex ready because it's really sad. Hey, Pandy. Good to see you. Proud Fur Mom just subscribed. Thank you so much. I know, I'm sad too. But, yeah, Chapin Strong. I love it. I loved the documentary. I think that it was very well done, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. And again, hey, Paul, have you been here the whole time? We've got Patterson's book coming out, I think is it tomorrow or Monday? I thought it was cool the way she got pregnant with the 3 kids. Yeah, special. Paul, I hope you're having a good day as well. Amber Riot, thank you. All right, thanks, guys. We're going to roll our credits and get on out of here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Saturday. Until the next one, everybody stay safe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this live stream or video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my latest content. Want to take it a step further?
Bring it all in.
And join our community clickers by becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You'll get exclusive access to our Discord server, special channel perks, and much more. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.
Click. It's real easy, man.